The spike, a dare, a challenge, a beckon for a swing, and only one foul. Finds the second!
He doesn't have any flashes left, but he's able to take a 1 versus 1. Keston overheats, and now the rolling thunder. It's going to catch MTA. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide.
Hey guys, it's Mix, and I'm joined by Coach Josh RT. Josh, I was looking at the match history and I realized the last time you played Sentinels was all the way back at the beginning of the year. It's been quite a while, which is almost hard to believe when both you and Sentinels have been improving so much throughout the year. So knowing you're going up against such a strong opponent, what was the preparation process like, especially when some of their strengths are similar to yours? They also have a great in-game leader, great individual players.
Yeah, it's honestly, we were preparing for playoffs, but while preparing for playoffs, we're ready to face a lot of different comps. So just like they pulled a curveball with us with the deadlock comp, we're just kind of ready. How do we play against it? So yeah, I've been excited to play do that rematch. Last time there's a little bit of cope saying that, oh, it's a meaningless match, but I know as competitors, the players love to compete. So were they, and they wanted to win that. Now it's time to prove that we're the better team.
We love to hear it. Best of luck on map 2.
Thank you.
I told you guys, G2 have a date with Destiny. And they were going to roll Sentinels. They weren't going to drop a single round in the second half, and then they were going to win. They're going to get to the playoffs. They're going to win that, and then they're going to go to Seoul, and then they're going to win that as well.
Dude,
I
there
told
was
you guys
two
from the beginning.
I don't remember that.
I could have sworn you said that was for Sentinels.
No, run the tape. Oh, they can't get it in time.
We can't get the tape.
The productions, it's a bit limited. Just trust me.
No,
okay?
they're not limited. You just lied. That's all it is. You just made it up.
Where?
I don't want to talk about the game. I don't know what this guy's yapping about. The highlight for me of a lot of this, which we were already talking about a little bit during the pause, but was honestly Icy having some crazy improvements. Look at his stats. For this year as a whole, leading up to this match versus in this one map. Zekin, he's consistent. He's always been good. He was good in this map, but Icy stepped it up and had a rare superstar performance. Normally, he is a consistent, solid player. He'll have a couple rounds. He'll get his opening kills, but here he was really stepping up and matching Zekin, getting critical opening kills for the team, and I think that's so big in a game like this, where I think these teams are so even in how good their calling is and a lot of the ideas they like to bring up. You need players to have that performance, and that's so big for Icy too. I think for his confidence as well.
Yeah, and I think confidence for G2. I mean, they're at their best when everyone is contributing, and it only looks like they get even better when Icy's having those big performances that you were just alluding to. So again, we talked about Valen and his mid-rounding. I'm hoping we're going to get to look at this round again here, round 17, because that felt like a microcosm of just how effective G2 were for the entire half. Again, they didn't lose a single round in this half. It was really impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, here's that round you're talking about, right? It's starting out with this early idea towards A for G2, using kind of their standard exec util with that Gecko and Sky to get in. They get pushed away by this Brimhole, but while all this is going on, there's this gap in the setup for Leaf. He notices John QT playing off the site, not actually set up for his utility. Gets all the way in. There's this fast call to pivot through, and players are immediately ready to punish Saucy. And this round gets very messy from this point on. However, G2 still, I think, thrive and survive in this chaos off of an early good round from their IGL.
Yeah.
And I think it was even little things like tapping to draw out the Brim ult and then knowing they were going to probably end up hitting B anyway because of how far up Leaf was. Like Valen's calling, the impact that he has individually. I mean, he was just really good this first match.
He's also just feasting individually. Like, that's what's so crazy about this player to me consistently, that he's making great calls. He's playing incredibly individually as well. I mean, we always say it.
Well, I mean, according to Doug, he's a robot, so, you know, he's like an AI, right?
And he's only getting smarter and better, and that's the future, and that's scary. We're so done. We're cooked, bro.
No, I mean...
Sweet.
Us old farts. You? The youth, good hands. Us?
Not happening. But
I don't agree to this.
It is very impressive, though, how Valen has been able to do that. And I also want to take it back over to that coach's interview real fast. Fascinating to hear Josh RT say, we're focused on playoffs, but we're ready for any of these pivots. And they were. It reflects in that score.
The player's going to play.
Exactly. Well, let's just go ahead, though, and see. I think we might have our other coach interview in just a second here. But, yeah, I think it might be good to go. So let's go ahead and send it over to that one. We're going to hear from our coach over on the Sentinels camp. Let's see what's going on over there.
Coach Kaplan, I noticed that on this last map, there was a change made with the introduction of Deadlock. while the map didn't go your way, what were you hoping to implement with that change and hoping to accomplish that maybe we'll see in playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great agent to catch people off guard. It pairs really well with Raze. It's good at stuffing fast play. It's a very fast map. So obviously everything we come in, we've prepared and tested a lot, and we felt good about it. I think it more came down to not executing things how we wanted. But yeah, hopefully the rest of the things we've planned go a little bit better.
Sounds good. Best of luck on map number 2.
Thank you.
All right, well, as we get ready for map number 2, as Kaplan said, we're going to be taking a trip over to Lotus. And I mean, I got to say, though, G2, they're riding a lot of momentum going into this map, too. You got to feel pretty comfortable or confident in this.
They absolutely are, but this has been a stronghold for Sentinels practically the whole year. The last few showings, though, they've switched up on the comp. They were playing the default all year. They experimented with the deadlock early on, but then went off that. And the last time we saw them outing on Lotus, they were playing into kind of the breach comp that a lot of teams have moved into, still with the Raze there. But I thought that was the best look, honestly. And G2 has still been playing the default stuff. They had a recent loss on the map. This is a map where I feel very confident for Sentinels to be able to bounce back.
Yeah, I would agree. And I also think I feel really confident that this map, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something different here. If there was a deadlock that was brought out again. I think we've seen it on Lotus a couple of times. Given the stakes of this match, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some of that more.
Specifically, though, if they go back to this breach comp, which I feel like they probably will, they're so good at getting the early control on both sides of the map. The gambits they have built up around second, and the execs as well are always stunning for Sen.
Yeah, I do wonder what G2 will try and pull off over here, right? Composition-wise. Maybe they try and go for something clever like Sentinels did, like we saw on Bind. Well, folks, we're going to find out all that and more when we come back. Map 2 is going to be right after this quick break. We'll see you then.
We're straight back to it here for map number 2, Lotus on the cards. And if you forgot what we're playing for here, Sentinels a chance to lock up champs, but they'd have to win this series here. For G2 as well, playing for that top spot. In terms of the playoffs, top seeding matters a ton. You can skip a lot of that just riff-raff that's occurring at the bottom of the section of the playoffs. You know, you essentially kind of solidify yourself as a team that is almost guaranteed to be going to champs.
Yeah, you make it into the top 4, and at that point, you just have to not lose both of your games in double elimination, and you're there. And for Sen, it gets even easier, because if they win today, they have enough Champions points to have a guaranteed spot. So both teams with a lot on the line, and Sentinels going back to that double Sentinel comp, the Deadlock Cypher, which they brought out here before when they played against NRG. And honestly, it looked fairly good. I think it had a couple of holes in it, but this, to me, again, makes it feel like Sen are trying to cook up multiple team comps as we head to playoffs and head towards champions so that they can pull them out as and when they need them.
Yeah, but another curveball for G2 to kind of deal with in terms of the prep. Knowing Josh RT, knowing Valen, they obviously have studied them overall in the split. It's not like they're going to be completely caught off guard. And I think this is something that a lot of teams are probably practicing against right now. It's something that I think could take a real hold in the meta. And I think that's why also you're seeing Sentinels add it to the arsenal so significantly, both on Bind. It's not the same, right? This is the double Sentinel with the Deadlock Cypher. But this one as well. This one is very interesting and doing work in challengers. I know we've said that many times, but it is doing absolute numbers.
I mean, somewhere Wyatt is just screaming in joy. He's become known as the resident, Cypher Deadlock enjoyer. And we'll be taking a closer gander as well at Sentinels on this map, seeing if it is more fleshed out compared to the last time they brought it out. A lot of heavy leaning into it. We saw them just kind of cooking up the grab net combos, but we're going to be getting into it here for our pistol round of Lotus.
One of the other big differences for Sentinels when they played against NRG were running at them on the defense side. G2 are not going to be going for that, though we may see a bit of an early fight over here towards B. And if you let Sen get into post plans, those sonic sensors can be so tough to deal with. Not online for John in this pistol, though.
All contact until it's not here with a Prowler, taking the brunt of it. The bullets exchanged.
This is a popular setup that we've seen, I mean, 100 Thieves use as well. Tucking the Killjoy into the corner there, making it feel like it's only Jonah P on the B site. Hoping that you get a freebie.
There's something weird, though, with Sentinels here. They just threw out that Prowler, they poked that front B, but they didn't get any value out of G2. They didn't break any mollies, any turrets, anything there.
Still going to be having that passive map control. As long as the kit is active, and here's emphasis being placed here by Sentinels. Looks like they want to try and pivot this potentially over towards the A side, with the door opened up wide. Horn. It's just on the G2 side of things here. Paranoia flooding through. Nothing to cover this one onto that high ground position. G2, the firing line to approach them as well. Anybody who just tries to skip their way through already with that casualty. Zekin going down. Now John QT sticking the plan. Paranoia soups its way past. Already G2 getting some bodies now onto the side. Looking to try and take this one a bit more fast. Again with the approach, doubled up, still with that discipline. Nothing missing in terms of the pieces. A tap already from Valen, looking for that first wave of util. Everyone pre-aiming up to the skies. Sliders and gaps into the smokes as well, and the tiniest of differences might make all the difference here for G2. Still doubled up, tripled up, trying to find these. Fast flank, round from the back, Tens is trying to deliver it. Again, low on HP though, 5 just to work with. He's got a contestant tangle with all of Icy.
We haven't seen Tens have those big moments in this match yet. Was struggling early on, lost the 1v1 really importantly to Jonah P earlier, and in this round seems to have missed the timing on the smoke too. There were massive casualties early on here. This heaven area, just not smoked, came in really, really late. Whether that's on him or whether that's on the rest of Sen going too early, a mistake either way. The G2 take a pistol round.
And you mentioned Tens in particular, but I think everybody on Sentinels right now feels like they're playing with a little bit of fear. And I have to say, it's because G2 are hitting, man. Jonah P, Icy, these two guys are just making everything so scary when you go around any corner.
You've got a hero build these guys. Jonah P onto this B side as well. This guy's a menace. Spotted up, tagged up there by the Horn, but no punishment inside, not from the Sentinels side of things. Leaf as well, looking to contain, sees that his player is committing with the alarm bot, taking the brunt of that.
Sen had a very clear micro objective when it came to bind. They were trying to load ult orbs into Tens so that they had the thrash.
What are these smokes, these gap smokes that G2 are throwing out? They did in the last round too, on the post plant.
And just leaving these openings here, but G2 with the right read of things. Not being dissuaded. I mean, Icy's on the other side of the map, just locking down the entire A avenue. So they know this is going to be landing towards B or C. They've got the read, indicators there. Backup arrives. Flawless here. Nobody falling here for G2. It's going to be a real healthy bonus round heading into the next.
And they've had such success on the pistols, but also in that second half of Bind, the bonus as well. These sorts of rounds really continue the momentum like crazy for G2.
When we've seen how good Valent's attack side calling is, I think Sen have got to be putting up big results in this half. So pressure's on early. Can't be losing this round.
It's got to start here.
And they're looking for an early fight, Sentinels is, but they're not going to get it. G2 are playing quite passive. They're going to open up the door. Valen might be under trouble because of that door open.
Just spotted second, there's no way.
I mean, he's challenging.
Commits right past, he wants a challenge, he'll take it. Straight up, space gained and granted. Trent now with a job to try and drop this one, hold it back as well. Sees, plants it, deep onto the corner. Will prevent them from really trying to push it back and out, but a util supplementary in nature. It's perfect there from Sentinels. Tens with the flash, and Celsius can hear all the footsteps. Final player, Icy, notified, smoked off. Very little in terms of the chances they're really even giving him. Flawless right back.
There's a gentleman's agreement to leave a gap in every smoke. Both teams doing it there. I said that Sen needed that round, and they did it immaculately, flawlessly. No problems whatsoever, and Zekin being very opportunistic with his timing, realizing that Valen had made a small mistake there, or at least a gap that could have been exploited if Zekin hit the shot. And he's always confident.
And I was talking about fear there, Zekin having none of it. A big fight here potentially, Brent.
Oh yeah, you'll see a skirmish popping off, aren't you? Grab net, that's a connection.
Oh, the
Sees
nade!
it, and the nade!
He's dead!
Gun!
Oh!
Barely surviving. Still Annihilation was committed and used as well.
They're trying to break him out, but he's
even
dead.
Valen, yeah, I mean, there's no safety there, is there? Absolutely no.
Oh my God!
Whoa! What happened there?
Why did he survive?
They shot him out at the last second.
That one you just don't expect.
What is Jonah up to here?
Deep push up.
Doesn't get
blind
seen.
spot. What? He's getting away with it. Murder in action, still wants to hold his ground, but eventually has to concede up that space. Now towards C-Mal now. Any sort of hesitancy that might just be stepping into Sentinel's place. Still going to be farming up that orb though. Zekken now, one away from the showstopper. Leave just waiting. Odin in hand, Trent re-clearing. Great information for G2 to work off, even with the player down situation. They gotta know this one is gonna be landing and ending over towards C. Here's the util, waves of it now. Emanating out, not slowing down as Boombot and a Prowler, but still got to contest. And tangle with this guy, Leaf. Locking it down to Astral back, and his rifle aim is sharp from TenZ.
Big round.
Real precise. Trent off to the side, might be able to get a cheeky one just barely there, but now alerted to his position.
Still got 2 Prowlers to get through this.
It's a lot to ask for. Might be able to follow it, maybe a bit of luck in question. 8 bullets. 8 bullets. It's all been spent. You need quite a lot to try and do the job here. 4. Not much left. Doubled up discipline. Sentinels. There's an answer back. 2-2 now being that round scoreline.
And there's the round you need to see from TenZ. That's the impact.
You were just talking about it. And I think this moment right here, I think this is on purpose from G2. Trying to shoot it out late. So there's just a spy on the enemy team just ending up in their camp, but still staying aware from it.
These are 2 really important rounds for Sentinels. Not only did they stop the momentum, but now they've actually broken G2's economy. And they can start a bit of a snowball of their own.
I think Sentinels actually broke it as well in the last round to put the ult orb into Zekken. I think we missed that. That was Sentinel shooting it to break it so that the kill wouldn't be granted to John QT. Besides the point now, though, that's a hail of lead. You're not surviving. They already know. Hello. Okay, there we go.
That's the second round, though, that Jonah P's really pushed up over towards C. Now, while there's action happening on the other side of the map, Jonah in the previous got himself pushed up right next to a cyber cage and tried to play underneath the camp.
I know exactly where you are.
That's unusual for G2. They don't normally push out and try to create solo situations for their players. A read on how Sen are going to play the map, perhaps, but it hasn't really worked just yet.
Bring around the Rosies. Nobody onto the B side to contest this one. Nade's going to sail past, grab net, barrier mesh, all going to be enveloping. Nobody can really press past this one. Still, Sentinels in the face of John QT. Doesn't matter. Trying to hold it. So, okay, Odin spam away. Hey, well, hold on. Paranoia. Maybe getting a bit overzealous there. Still icy. Hello, with the nade. What? The Sheriff. He's hit himself another one. Oh, here. Rocket. Denied. TenZ plucks him out of the sky. Has to come back. And 4th we go. G2 swinging out. Only down to the 1 second. He's going to pull off a miracle. Satchel pushing him back and away. Another tap as well. Into the smoke. Tracers. Point and click. Adventure game. G2. Pulling it from the brink.
Next time we'll use
That is ridiculous, man. I mean, an eco round after what Sentinels just did in the last as well. The must-win round for them, it felt like. And all of a sudden, G2 just crushed that momentum.
If you show me that round without any player labels and ask me to identify the Rays on the defense side, I'm thinking...
I would say Sentinels.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's Zekken. The utility usage is amazing from Icy in this round. Using his blast pack to juggle the player away and then hits a crisp shot. Nade kill as well. This guy's fired up.
5-3 right now. He was near the top for his team in the last map as well. I mean, Icy's a player where, talk about him, a lot of players are talking about, you know, wow, maybe G2 should have picked up a better firepower upgrade, but he's turning up against some of the star players in Americas.
Zekken is so weak. It's difficult to push away an Odin player. They tap the door. Trent's going to realize that they haven't come in.
Yeah, the full retreat though, and given how aggressive Jonah P has played in the past on that C mound, they're gonna have to take some time and some util rather than going out dry, and that's gonna give a lot of info and time to G2 to make an informed decision.
G2 are also worried though that somebody's pushed upstairs. You can see them re-clearing it now. That's gonna take time to allow Sentinels potentially to exec into C.
Could be disastrous though, these nano swarms that have been laid down for the C hit.
And Tens being all the way out here is not that big of a deal. He can always join the fight with his ult.
Sentinels just trying to sniff out where a lot of this setup is again. ADS'd up, I'm assuming, but Icy just drops 10, sending him straight back to the spectator seat. Jonah P, Molly was used a little bit prior there, 20 seconds left now. The util's going to be flying through and away. There's a cage with the slightest gap, and as well the wall opened up. Gonna send their way over towards this B sides, but again, nobody was watching their back, so only 11 seconds. Gotta stick this plan. Barrier mesh finds them a lifeline, but still, this is a lot of players committed up. Close quarters in terms of the action and the fight. It's a paranoia connection onto the 2. Disrupts that high-low setup. Sentinels won't be getting away with that one. Need to clear up into heaven. G2 still with a massive player advantage. Nightfall. They want to take this one. No crumbs. And they're still going to be just dominating every single position.
The way in which G2 come back in on the retake, that's the team play aspect there. You see them all swarming together, high-low setup, swinging from multiple aspects. But also what we're getting in this match is the individualism as Icy holds that tiny crack angle and picks off Tens, finding his moments again in the round. Look at this. I mean, that's a great shot. I know that Tens is walking into that one a little slowly, but it's still really clean. And just an example, another one of how Icy seems to be particularly on point today.
Just ridiculous. Not only the players playing well, but you said it, the team play too, looking so good for G2 right now. This is a game that I think is making a statement on their identity. The creativity in that last round as well on the retake. You got the Nightfall for Jonah P. He's waiting. If anything goes wrong on the site, that door is opening, and if you're not very aware, looking at the minimap, other teammates calling it out, he's flanking with no sound.
Sen did find themselves in a position where G2 had a broken buy. Sen, we were talking about it, 4 rounds in, they were about to be in the ascendancy, taking control of the game, building momentum, has been ripped away from them. They've got a broken buy here. They might decide to force into it, but it is not looking good. And I think this half has got to be the one where they put rounds on the board. I know they're running Cypher Deadlock, and it looks super defense-sided, but they went 8-4 in their attack half. It was much better in the game against NRG. It's slightly counterintuitive, and I also feel like you got to be scared of Valen's IGLing once the sides swap.
Yeah, once G2 get themselves onto that attack side themselves here, Sentinels. Unsteady ground beneath them, but we'll see if they can find a way forwards. Did choose to invest, at least into this one, to grab that in an aid. Clears off that early angle.
Could have been dangerous. Leaf likes to play aggressive there.
Ooh, this might be a little late here from Jonah P. He might not get out.
Just full sending it. Okay, Pit to just try and cover this one. He fires right back. He's not scared of that threat. The approach as well from all of these players. Horn has to be dealt with. It is broken. Jonah P still stands his ground, holds it down, and there's so many layers to the G2 protocols, man.
They can't get in, and everybody's here now. If they push in, they're dead.
Be prime time for the pivot.
That's a great kill.
Onto Leaf.
No lockdown now available, so retake potential plummets for G2.
The util going down line as well. No alarm bot through B. Valen's going to have to pick up that area. Icy as well. Forced to lock this down for his team. TP committed. That's Tens. It's right behind him, actually. Just takes tree control. Icy, a lot's going to be asked of him, and he will deliver. Paranoia glides through. The prediction is elite.
Icy is just different today.
Who is this guy?
I have the spike. If this is the level of player that they're going to have moving into playoffs, potentially moving into champs, how do you stop G2?
Everything going right for them. And the firepower was always a question mark, but now you cannot question it. Force Tens into this 1v3. Lurked as well.
They're playing so solid, too. Look at the setup inside the stairs. Yeah. Now they know.
So patient. Waiting it out. Time against them. They see the tether, the trail. points it directly to TenZ. There will be no escape from that. Spammed in his direction. G2. Another round on the board for them.
It just looks immaculate. Icy is in such a precarious spot there. He even misses the timing to go for his first peek. He tucks himself into a corner. He knows the players are coming, and he feels like he's got one shot to swing out, to land ahead before TenZ opens the door behind him. He gets himself in a tough spot, dodges shots from Sassy, and rattles off 2 with a spray transfer, and then blind over the third.
I mean, that's a big-time play for a rookie. Absolutely insane.
Feeling it. It's an all turn. Senna going to be left scrambling, looking for these answers. Starts with that mound control out towards C as well. They've been given that one quite freely. G2 though are perfectly happy, I think, to just try and flood this one in. Zeltis getting caught in the moment. Spamming down a Prowler. 3-player stack over towards A. There is weaknesses here for G2, just holding down onto the C site.
Especially when the Annihilation is on the other side. John could fire that off and capture Jonah P or Leaf if they're not very careful about it.
This is preemptive from Leaf, expecting some sort of initiation. As soon as he hears anything.
You know what's interesting too? There are ways to bounce the Annihilation into Waterfall to catch Killjoy players like that. I'm wondering if Sentinels is as prepared as you would expect for them playing this comp for the second time.
Players in Tier 2 are getting super nerdy with the Annihilation stuff. But for John, he's got so much more on his plate as well to think about from an IGL's perspective. Maybe he just hasn't had time to put in the work.
There's the lockdown.
They're so ready for this, man. Already with the setup as well. Nanastorm's not clear from Prior. How do you deal with this? It's 24 seconds on the clock.
They don't have time to get back into this. They just don't.
Entertainment. He has to drop it. I mean, he was going to be holding on to it. A hostage at a time now, and you can get the reinforcements in. G2 flooding back in with the body. Out through the back as well. And it's perfection in motion. Showstopper. Very pretty finish to the round because it's all done and over. G2. We're going to be up to that 6. This is just masterful calling.
It's immaculate from G2, but they're making Sentinels look amateurish out there. 14 seconds left, you're running back out of Mound. No opportunity to pivot, didn't want to go towards B. Zelsis is having to drop Spike so that there's even any chance left. Valen's calling, but more so even just the defensive pre-prepped protocols from G2. Making this attempt on the attack side from Sen look very poor.
And you have to also think about Zekid. I mean, how many first deaths has he had so far? To moments like that, just dying to the molly. Normally, John QT is never calling in that situation. Zekid's there to push in.
Brute force, perhaps, the answer.
Yeah, they want to send it out over towards Leaf again. Nanaswarm's not really too much of a problem. Friendly fire just from the grab there. Not going to be too worried about it, though. They do have an open sight. Best chance the Sentinels have had in quite some time. Unfortunately, don't have the weaponry. That explains the eagerness. Second, will be stepping up to this one. Stun, doesn't have to worry about it as much. This is real aggression. Trying to get proactive now, at least with this hold into the post. Molly rebounds, Trip dealt with at least, but still with a massive disadvantage. Haunt in their face, baits out the first shot. Annihilation through and over. But there should be no danger. Surely you got to imagine they clear every single possibility still to stand. Sentinels from the brink. And it's only Icy. Just like that, switches around, complete 180 through the wall.
Sen decided to just send it into C. They overwhelmed what G2 were doing on that site. I think primarily because G2 weren't expecting the pace to come from them.
Look at this shot.
That's
intense.
That's pretty good.
And then those are the types of plays that are keeping them competitive in this game, despite what feels like an absolutely dominant half from G2.
I think you need a bit more than that. The Sentinels as well, disrupting retake protocols of G2, just trying to get in their faces.
And I have to, if I'm John QT, this is the one thing that's working. I'm trying to push the issue on this C site with the pace as well.
Tagged.
Difficulty though, I mean, G2 are not willing to give up any A rubble control. Sen are always constantly trying to feign like they could be taking this with players. They're not budgeting. It's given incredible mid-round information for G2 to work on.
I also think that if Sen ran that same C exec, but Jonah P was anchoring Waterfall, I think Jonah kills Zekon. So I'm not sure the same result is going to happen here.
Volley down, Prowler. He's going to be connecting here with the C's on top of it. Zekon. Finally, striking back here. First kill for him. Ult is online, available in the back pocket.
Oh, they used the deep wall into Waterfall, but Leaf is ahead of it.
Spots out onto Valen, forces out this paranoia. Again, the time is going to be ticking. The fuse battered away into the corner as well. Could just send it with a pre-aim and a fire. Doesn't expect Leaf. It's not cleared. He's the one who's finding all of the marks. A lot of space given up. Sentinels just willing now to play this one entirely off-site. Is there ready, at least for the mount spam. Bullets going to be raining down upon them, but do they have anything to stop this one? Nade as well follows through. I see he's got one at least with the connection. Pushing through. It's perfection again. G2. Can you praise this team more?
Even Valen's position on top of the ledge to dodge more of the spam is an excellent protocol that teams have started developing. The nade too from Icy, perfectly timed to push people away on Mount. The first one's a tap, not a real stick. Every layer of it is lovely. And there are cracks in what Sen are doing. Yes, that Prowler caught onto Jonah P, and that made a big difference in taking him out. But not clearing Leaf in that spot. That should be part of your attacking system.
They should have run into that in scrims already.
Yes, when you throw the barrier mesh over like that, you can't just guarantee that you've pushed everybody away. There has to be an active clear of that spot, especially if you've got Showstopper. It costs you nothing to just clear that corner and make sure that the Killjoy isn't hiding there. I think it looks a little unpracticed from Sen. I'm willing to shoot him a bit of bail, though, and say that it's probably because Sen have two comps that they're looking to prep for playoffs, and they're having to balance time between it. Now, do I know that? No, not at all. Pure speculation. But when a team has as much history of excellence as Sentinels this year, when you see cracks like that, feels like there should probably be a reason behind it. At the moment, G2 just looks so much better, despite a somewhat competitive scoreline.
I mean, if I have information about how G2 has been playing in scrims or just watching it and really understanding, this is a not once in a lifetime performance for most of these guys. They're doing it so consistently now, but you know, and maybe you have to pull out something like this if you're Sentinels. Maybe they actually believe that G2 have what it takes to fight them on even ground.
At this point as well, if you're not giving G2 the flowers, I mean, what are you doing? What have you been watching? Because they have been performing almost every single step of the way, actually, since that Ascension coming into this league. Our best performing Ascension team out of absolutely all of them, in all 4 regions.
The only one with a chance to go to Champions out of any of those promoted Tier 2 teams, just exemplars of the system.
And G2, I don't know what this read is, straight out of timeout again, just trying to punish and disrupt Sentinels this time. Very heavy committal over towards the A-Rubble fight once more. Door opens up, that's a Nightfall. Will force these G2 players to at least scatter. Trent is going to be worrying and fearful, at least for his life. And Sentinels are making this feel like all that pressure coming towards A. Door's going to be broken up. No one expecting that wraparound trade, at least in sight. It does make it nice and even, 4 versus 4. But still that uncertainty.
Tens used this paranoia in desperation, and now they don't have it to actually pounce on the site anymore.
And with Sassy gone, they're lacking all initiation tools.
Slightest of pause being called, but Sentinels want to send this one forwards, flying. Jonah P, too much to really deal with. Overwhelmed. Exactly out onto the site. There was backup there in the form of Leaf, but wasn't long for this world. TP cancel, not too sure. All the way over towards C, didn't like what they saw, at least from that neural theft.
Sentinels have a combined 69 health. I mean, almost nothing to work with.
And that creates openings, at least Ten's going to be hearing this one. A couple of footsteps. Gives him an indicator. He has to be the one to provide them the win.
He might have missed the timing. He might have given it a little too long. No.
Looking away and around. Spots the second one. Backs away. Plays his life. Intelligence there. At least on show. Fast through and away. I see still. Bit of that half advantage, but too many obstacles. Surely. Yes, indeed.
Such thin margins for Sen to be able to get through there. But a great play from Tens. Tucking himself up into heaven allowed him to get some freer kills, where if he'd just taken them head-to-head and relied on his aim instead of his brain, the health pool was not there.
29 HP combined in all of them.
For the end of the round, yeah.
And also credit to Valen on that initial pivot. He's already 2 steps ahead of it. sees that wall come out from the deadlock of Sentinels and decides, okay, I've got my Viper wall up, I can peek this safely.
Hello, G2. Okay. Skip right past it, grab net. Not going to be a trouble. Sentinels are going to be hearing that, though. It's a lot of util. Gives them a good indicator.
Sentinel's entry player has a judge in the final round of the half.
See if Zekin is able to get that value. Prowler and Boombot straight down, same burst. Util being used. TP in through the back. It's going to be Valen. Treeing up back with the rest of the team now, out through B as well, spotting it again. Zekin does not have the weapon for the job here. Has to avoid most of these fights coming his way. Space garnered though. Lurk's being caught. Jonah P deals with Celsius, locked down. Any sort of plans to deal with this, all being overlaid. Overlap now. These were the Nightfall. Sentinels crest away, knives are out, Tens is catching them. And as well, hearing it, Icy, Sky might be the difference maker. Annihilation, not sure if that's a miss or what, but Leaf now onto the view, sticking, and it needs to be presence from Sentinels. They can't just give this one up. Bodies matching him, Leaf has to get off of it, Leaf demolishes it.
Again, Icy plays so well in that situation, and the Nightfall hits everybody on Sentinel, so they don't even hear the defuse coming through from Leaf. They don't know what the heck is going on with Icy. How is he playing a mound in that situation? He backs all the way up for that situation. It's beautiful.
I will say, though, John gets a bit unlucky that his Annihilation missed everybody that was over towards that defuse. And the last few rounds have been a bit closer from Sen. It looked like G2 were just going to run away with things by the scoreline they have. But Sen are at least playing a better game and pushing them to the limit.
There's a lot on the line in this upcoming pistol round, of course, as well for Sentinel. It's an 8-4 finish, but listen, it's anyone's game still here in this series.
Welcome back, everyone, and wow, what a map we have been treated to. Lotus has been awesome, and one person in particular has been great, and it's Icy. This guy has truly turned around. We were praising him before, and now, Mimi, this guy is popping off here, too.
Yeah, he was good map one, but he has been lights out in this second map. His mechanics are on point, and specifically, I think the way he's using his utility with the team has been so good. G2 has had to play a lot of retakes, and I think the way he's satcheling with this team, the way he's using satchels forward to set himself up for successful fights, and even the nades, it has all been on point for this young guy.
Yeah, even think about that 3K that he hits A main when he's fully flashed, just turns around and spams.
That was nutty.
Because he knows someone's going to swing him, pre-fires the angle that he can't see, and still gets the kill. Like, sometimes you're really good, and that's where Icy's been, and also things are leaning his way, too. Like, the kid can do no wrong. There's nobody who's having as much fun as he is right now.
Yeah, he's looking ridiculous. The stats he's put up in the first half are insane, and for G2, that was their defensive side. Coming out favorable on your defense is so huge on Lotus. Sentinels, I think, making some big mistakes in this composition. I think of that round where they're not clearing to the right towards Waterfall when their wall is up. These little errors have snowballed into a very dangerous situation.
Let's not forget that the winner of this match secures a playoff bye, and the losers will have to play 100 Thieves. Now, if Sentinels win, they will secure champs. So if you're a Sen fan, you're cheering on your squad right now, but G2 could close this out. Let's send it back over to your casters.
Good job for us there. Yeah, I mean, a Sen win would lock them in for champs, but they are far away from that. 8-4 currently where they're sitting. Pistol round, so damn important. But for G2, it's a team that they've always just been quite unassuming, I suppose one could say. But the results are anything but that. I mean, they have just been up there since their ascendancy.
And to set the state of the map a little bit as well, that was a phenomenal half from G2 on the defense. And what we saw at Bind was a phenomenal attack side, so we expect it to continue here. It's going to take a lot for Sentinels to get back into this against what was America's best at Shanghai.
Most of the G2 series wins have had one map where they struggle, where they get blown out, actually. They've been in control of this match the whole time.
Yeah, nothing slipped so far. Cam contact, seeing it, plenty of bodies. It's not alert himself, but he spotted eventually here. The paranoia gliding through, Prowler as well. These trips, G2 want nothing to do with it. Pump fake being called.
There's
here.
nobody here.
Seconds. Yeah, full rotation away. Sentinels not leaving anybody's onto the site, at least not to contain. G2 are going to be able to get that free plant off. Trent now into it.
The timing.
Oh, he's missed it. Leaf's just been inserted as well. This guy is going to be delivering that backstab. It might just be fatal. Trent as well being pushed and pressed away here. We're still going to grab that. Look down into the corner. Celsius just peeking, taking these fights at just the right timing. It's opportunities presented now to Sentinels, but they have to try and wrap this one up, and they are being picked apart just from the side, but it's only Jonah P left to remain, and he can't land the finish.
Leaf gave his hand away there, I think, a little bit too early. I believe it was Tens who threw the paranoia into the rest of the team and spotted him, took a shot from behind and realized that that backstab was happening. And from then, Sen had the utility advantage. C's being thrown out, this Gravnet as well, paranoia, just so many things to make life difficult for G2 on site.
I mean, that was the first pistol for Sentinels that they've won so far in the series. Definitely gets Kaplan hyped in the back.
Get the lifeline back. I mean, that is literally what it is.
This season it could catch.
Just a bit of a bait and switch. Actually, TP pass. That's actually committed by Valin. Oh, he's right to the side. Classic in his hands. Hello. Unawareness. What is going on here?
I'm baffled that Tens didn't get that comm from his teammate. He was right underneath him, looked like a free kill. How is Valin the one that survives?
No
How is
way.
he continuing to get value?
There's just no chance. The weapons are being handed over. The map is in disarray in terms of the defense. The Sentinels, I mean, Trent has lurked his way all the way into the C site.
Past double Sentinel utility. The trips weren't set up to catch him, and no usage of the cam. Only just now, but it's not going to realize that Trent's in such a deep position.
And somehow, actually, Leaf has jumped over both those trips.
Disaster, man. Absolute disaster here for Sentinels. Full elation after winning the pistol. Tucking down. They can't even get the kill on the Trent.
That's great movement, though.
Backing away, surely.
What are you saving here?
You're in a 2v5.
Surely.
What do you do in this spot?
Backing away, saving a gun. They don't want to keep the sting in the hands of Celsius. He's going to look for at least a couple of kills here, but they're saving the Bulldog.
You're not even getting super thrilled with damage done here for Celsius, right? The Cypher ult on defense.
Economy's still going to be flourishing here for G2. And it's a round win nevertheless as well. Okay. Almost there with the ace.
I mean, that would have just been ridiculous.
Even the ace would have been the saddest ace that this Sen-favoring crowd has ever seen. Because it's just a silver lining to a dark rain cloud. G2 had no rights to win this. How are these pistol shots coming through?
There's just no way.
Tens did flick around for a moment there. It sounds like the call was late, or his reaction to it was.
Yeah.
But it's game over at that point. Valin finished the first half with 3 kills, and he's already had 2.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, when it rains, it pours. This is the second time they get thrifty. That's
somewhat a bit of a hard read here. I mean, the C's, no connection, TP up top. They still want to fight this one. The Heat wasn't, or at least the Haunt, I should say, not accounted for.
I like that. Nice set play. It doesn't actually get the value, but you can see that Sentinels have been cooking.
And that's forced out some util, at least from G2 to respond, take back control. While all this is going on, though, Jonah P has been walking through rain over towards A as well. Always giving these pivot options, G2. Doesn't matter into the mid-round, they've always got backup plans.
Yeah, but that big trade of util at the beginning of this round is going to favor G2 with the amount of money and util that they actually have in this one. Surprisingly, actually, you still have a lot from Sentinels on this eco.
Sentinels just forced to stack up here. Pray that they walk back into the C site. A lot to be asked for from Celsius. He's sitting pretty anchoring, but there's a storm coming here. Camely spotting the one, grab net, has to fall over the kill. There's no chance, man. Jonah P just spamming away. There is that return of the fire. Damage being done as well. Has slowed this push to a crawl, but G2 now finally committing to it, but they hear the jump on Tent. Accounting for that one, there's a flank. It's finally going to be falling, and speaking of falling, G2 just struggling to really get a handle onto this side. It's a flood attempt. Valin doing the most right now. Touch to the corner to spam the damage. Icy, he's left alone to do it all. 21 health, they just spot the body and jumping around. Classic will do it.
The perfect response there from Sentinels. They look down and out, but with only a Bulldog and Sheriff, a couple of classics to work with, they managed to pick apart G2.
And the man to close it out too with the classic. Saucy finding some value too. Absolutely right. This response. And that's finally going to get Celsius back into this game as well. He was missing in terms of providing that energy after what was a series of very unfortunate tech pauses for him.
Focused.
It was missing, yeah. The wind was out of the sails. He's one of those players that props up this team as well when they're at that lowest point of moments here. Sentinels, again, not shying away. It's a skirmish that they want to take over towards A, at least setting up Tens into that forward approach. Again, gives them that information, but G2 were just contacted straight up past this one. There's the punish. He's there with the Odin spam.
I like that. It's right as G2 were about to take the timing to re-clear rubble behind the Viper wall. It goes up, Odin spam comes out. And leaving Tens posted over towards rubble. I know he had that weird situation at the beginning of a round earlier, but generally speaking, Tens has been on fire this map. And compared to his performance on Bind, I would feel very comfortable leaving him posted. And now you're going into Cypher deadlock.
Only time we saw this was when they got over it before an engagement happened. This time, you're going to have one.
This double setup is going to be a nightmare. TP forwards, that catches Valin. It's a trip intentional. Destroys any player that TP's through. Grab net. It's all being followed through. Nasty stuff there by Sentinels. Flawless in nature.
And we've been praising the beauty of the G2 plays, but there's one for Sentinels as well.
No charges.
A perfect picture painted for the players of Sentinels. That grab net, the kill trip, everything looking marvelous.
One of the biggest reasons that this composition's good is because on the defense side as well, stack the Cypher deadlock utility on one side of the map, stack 3 players on the other. Which one's the strong side, which one's the weak side? You don't really want to go into either.
G2 struggling here to even get that foothold. Love to have layers and backup plans just in case the initial one fails, but they're not even able to even get over the line over towards A rubble.
Brent, you talk a lot about the pace of G2 on attack sides. The last couple of rounds have felt like they've been in the mud early on in these rounds consistently.
Jonah commits his Viper orb there just to try to threaten across, make it more difficult. Keep Tens and Zekken guessing for information over towards A.
Placing swarm grenade.
But those are nasty players to get through, especially because the final kill in the previous round was given over to Zekken so that he got Showstopper online. So not only are you having to get through the young superstar duo of Sentinels, but one of them has a rocket launcher.
Just the one sign of that Prowler. Sentinels scurrying back away from that A hold, giving it up now, still with a double setup, but a nade clears most of this one. Nothing to really obstruct. Satchel's through, on top of all of it, Valin with a TP, any sort of punishment, it's not quite there. Sentinel's gonna have to play this one, but a retake and spam from Celsius. Again, high ground position. Line of fire, straight down to him. They wanted to fight this one aggressively. G2 straight up through into the back of the site, trying to create some space for them. It's a Showstopper now offloaded in response to this pit. Drop down in their faces, not a lot to work with, yet still blindly firing away. Icy cleaned up in the process. Losing players here, but with the pit remaining, Jonah P no longer a problem. He's picked off, and with it, the pit will fall. Lee has to do a lot. A little bit too much to overcome. Trent, slightly ajar, taps away, no way, forcing into the 1v1. And QT unable to even get half. Destroy with a horn stick and half and swing to deny Trent a monstrous clutch.
That might be the dagger right there. What in the hell just happened with Trent? They're all stepping up at this point. Just ridiculous, every single one of them.
That wasn't even a good plan for him. He had to get 2 on the cross because it wasn't planted for Mound. He throws the hole towards the end, and yeah, at that point it's tough for John QT to play it. But my God, how has he got 2?
Swings and roundabouts here. Second half of Lotus. Heavy stack of the players. 4 from Sentinels committing to this one and trying to disrespect Rue into the one-way. The punish inside Annihilation. Wraps himself around. Trying to break this one, but the punish is still there. Predicted in terms of the movement and the pathing. There has to be a rotation now from G2.
Do you use Icy's ult in this round? You're in a 3v4. It doesn't look winnable for you. No real map control. Are you just trying to look to save that?
He comes from the school of EG, so he might just send it. Despite the situation, Sentinels is fully rotating with the deadlock util put down on A.
A entirely, they just gave it up. Willing to try and fight this one. It's a double, high, low. Needs to be that response from QT! And that's a rocket. It whistles straight past. Narrowly avoiding falling. 2 to stand here for G2. Tens. Sidus of off angles here, but the horn not broken for him. He's revealed, sees now nade, rebounding into the corner. Trent is so damn low. 11 HP still now, sticking in, easily covered. Icy, he will drop and fall, and the jumping peak again paves the way for victory here for Sentinels.
That one was tough to close out. It should have been easier, to be honest, especially considering that the showstopper got nothing. But that's a massive difference. Icy chose to invest it. It was close, but no cigar there for G2. Sentinels bring it back within 2, and they've bled out one huge tool to be able to get into sight. Something that the Sentinels even would be scared of playing against, that showstopper. G2 are now going to take a tactical timeout. The big ult that they now have to work with is the lockdown, which is still going to be super useful. Again, if you can find the site that the Cypher and Deadlock are playing on, and you can lock down that area, you might be able to just slowly walk in, get rid of utility as you find it, and set up into a post plan. But their economy is now shot. This is starting to look like it's going to get really tight towards the end.
A scrappy map, especially towards the tail end. Like you were saying, Josh, I mean, you're looking at back and forth rounds here, teams winning when the economy isn't even looking too hot here, but Sentinels finally feel like they're in the driving seat, but I hesitate to even say that just now. The tendency of these teams as well to just fight back from the brink.
I think the other thing to keep in mind as well is that some of the G2 players have been playing above expectations. And on the other side of things, it's rare to see Zekken having a bit of a quiet game. If Zekken wakes up at some point and starts putting on these monstrous rounds, you might see not just the game getting tight, but Sen start to overtake.
We'll see. The fan base certainly riled up in the audience today. This has been such a good match. Such a good way to close out the Americas regular season here. And we still got a lot to play for.
Those are the stakes that these two teams are playing for. Top place in the playoffs. Yet to be played next week here. Sen, a little bit more, I suppose. Just a guaranteed spot at champs if they win this. Nothing big.
And not just the positives for the winner, but the loser ends up playing against 100 Thieves, who I know that they lost today, but they're the winners of stage 1, and at times this year have looked absolutely on fire. There are still possibilities that you could miss out on champs by losing to them in single elimination.
Yeah. Reminds me of last year's LCQ, where 100 Thieves and Sentinels did play in that single elimination game. So interesting how it could end up at the end of the day.
Ten still holding on. Sassy by his side. Horn's going to be broken. Paranoia flies forwards here. G2 running out of options. 35 seconds onto the clock. Where do you set your sights? Over towards B, but already the stack is red here by Sentinels. Make sure they've got plenty of players left to watch this one. Hello, the movement just going slightly ajar. Icy is getting away with murder. Here, John QT though finally steps up and around. Dodging, juking, any sort of util that comes his way. And no more time. You don't want to be saving these guns into the next. You need to get that plant down.
10 seconds left.
There's no chance, right? They're not going to be able to get to the site in that time.
No chance.
TP.
Oh, he's got it! Oh. He's got it!
We play on. Pulling that one from nowhere, and even an ult committed. There's respect being shown by Sen. They want to close this one out. Jonah P.
John QT's
looking around from behind. John QT. Importance in terms of the fight. 4 in the round. And one still stands between him and victory. The crowd wants it, chanting away. A bit of spam into the corner will seal his fate. Valen just cowering. Doesn't want to give too much away. And finally, it's claimed.
The crowd feels it. It might be coming home for Sentinels.
That's a violation, but I'll ignore it because it's an eye by power race.
John QT is absolutely the fire starter right now. So many huge moments from him. Whether it be with the Classic, whether it be with the Vandal holding down against the anti-eco, when G2 just got 2 kills on the site. And that's Bang's mother praying right there.
I'm not sure who she'd rather see 100 Thieves playing against.
Full frontal aggression by G2. Coming up with the goods with Zekken dropping and falling. Need a round like this, if you are G2, sets you up nicely. Haven't really been able to hold on to control of A Rubble A main at all. Been losing that battle, that war of attrition that's occurring.
It's a crazy good opening pick for G2 to get. Sentinels actually got 10s posted up with an operator on the other side of the map, thinking that this was going to be a lockdown on Sia.
Sassy
You should run.
sees it, catches the contact, lockdown now.
It's breakable with the Odin.
Placed down, thin walls, spamming away and broken. You called it, Anne. Sassy's still able to just hold his ground.
Whoa!
Stand it down.
This is so
annihilation. John QT just missing the read and the timing on this one, but G2 can be a quirky team in that regard. Rebounds off, but no
They were
connection.
in there. He could have gotten that, but he just chooses to fire it off when he knows they should be hiding.
Yeah, it seems like much better to save that for the next wave of attacking utility. But Celsius has got them pressed in at the back. Their only escape option here is over towards B, which I'm surprised that Sen are not looking to try to cover.
30
Door's
seconds
been
left.
opened wide. Might as well roll out the red carpet.
This looks like it's on Celsius. Do they read his position over towards B main?
Trips down, here's the plan. It's all happening all at the same
Spike
time here, just trying to catch these low timing's potential, just in case there are stragglers from the G2 camp. They've set themselves up now into it. And just in that transitionary period, I mean, Jonah P was not ready for a fight there, but seems like neither was Celsius. He's the one who falls, and this is going to be a save.
Wow, they're going to call the save. Celsius and Sassy without really any credits in the bank. And they want to keep hold of the op, the Odin. Remember, Tens, I'm not sure he's even fired a shot. Did G2 even know that he has an operator at this point?
I don't think so. I think you're right.
So it's entirely possible that the gambit that Tens went for, by picking up this op, could still have value in the next round if G2 run into it.
It's super important to keep those guns, and they do. I would love to see that shot from Jonah P's perspective, because it feels like, you're right, transitionary periods when he's not expecting, but he feels like one of the best players in the world when it comes to those moments.
Do you remember on Binds, Tens got the flank onto him over towards Fountain? Jonah P swings around, deletes him. It's also the movement from Jonah P. When he gets startled, he reacts with his keyboard, not his mouse.
Right.
Dodges the bullet, and then he's able to respond because the other player's standing still.
Always dancing around it here, and this is the gambit. Tens operate in his hands. They didn't want to reveal it. They didn't want to show their hands. He has to get value here. Going to come down to a very precise timing. Double Satchel's play.
He's on top.
Up and above and around. Not quite spotting it. He just feels pressured a little bit too much. He can't remain steadfast.
I don't think Lexi saw it, though.
I don't think so either. I think maybe concerned about the hunt there. Nobody breaking it for him or something like that. And that's still a tough shot to land over the Viper wall.
Calling for the pause, the buffer in the round here for G2. This often will throw a team or two for a loop.
I think TenZ has got a very difficult shot to make here because it's not a long sight line in his current position. If the Viper wall goes up and G2 explode through it, he's got to be hitting clean shots with the op.
I also find it incredibly difficult to get off of these A site positions when you have an operator.
Sassy trying to put that pressure and apply it. He's with the heat now. Nightfall has to be respected. Icy, he's fast on the trail as well. Sniffing them all out for the back of the site, revealed and spammed away. There's no hope in hell. And Sassy just could not work his way through that one. A nade rebounding forces the satchel away. Once more, 3 players to stand for Sentinels, and a decision is made for them. They cannot play into this.
I think the TenZ op is hurting them more than helping them at this point. That's a spot where if he's got a rifle in his hand, his current form on Lotus, I think he's taking one with him. But unfortunately, G2 pushed him into an uncomfortable spot where he's taking close range fights and actually has to swing into them with the operator as well. Even for a player with as hot a hand and as good a track record as TenZ there, those shots are just too difficult to hit consistently.
I think you're right. But for this next round, still carrying these 3 guns forward, that operator is going to lay lying on the ground there at the back of the site. And it won't be a problem going forward.
No. But G2 are at 12. Only 1 round now separates them from that 2nd seed in Americas.
Oh, what? That's it. Did he not get the shot off?
Must not.
Barely missing it.
It looked like he was still moving, too.
30 seconds.
Yeah, perhaps a bit of movement error.
You're completely right, Josh. G2 up to 12. The worries already settling in here for Sentinels. There are no second chances here into this match. You need that 2nd seed spot. Just peace of mind at the back. Just there for you. Either G2 or Sentinels, you can feel it. Both of these teams are giving it their all. And G2 just holding that slightest of advantages.
And remember, because Leviathan have locked in their position over towards Champs, that means that Sentinels' disaster situations still exist. If you lose this game, and then you lose out, and certain teams end up not making it over towards the end of playoffs, it can be a disaster for Sen after such a year. The winners of Masters Madrid, who hoisted the trophy, to not make champions after also going flawless, that would be devastation for them towards the end of Americas.
And it's still unlikely, don't get me wrong, but it's a possibility that exists.
Yeah.
And that's the point. You want things to be in your own hands. Sentinels as a team, together, they've had such an arduous road to even get to these points. You think about the run that they made even in Madrid. Always the hardest part for this team, always.
And of course, it would still be in their hands because they'd be going into a single elimination game with 100 Thieves. But that matchup is not guaranteed. You can pick your favorites, spam it in the chat, but no one really knows who would win a game like that.
Into playoffs with split out of the map pool with Abyss coming in. It is upset city in that singular limb portion of the playoffs. You do not want to be here. And that's what both of these teams are playing for. G2, 1 more round away. And they'll do it. This is full emphasis being placed over towards C. Showstopper. It was Ern Pryor. Trips into the face as well, but the timing just ducked straight past it. Icy. He's hunting. Hot onto their heels. Oh, tail end of the fuse. Just doesn't quite get it off still.
I mean, that's space, though.
He's not going to be pushed away from this spot. Sentinels have to answer this somehow. Util into their hands. The Prowler at least catching on to that contact. And a kill. It is there. Icy not able to escape away from this one here. Has to be fast and loose once more from Sentinels, but it has to all come together. G2 entirely off-site. They want to play this one straight away. Winning these fights. Valid brings it at 4v4. Time to get away. Paranoia sweeps its way. TenZ. The pressure is applied, but his team needs to at least get onto this here. What is the call? Nobody finding it. Time is ticking. Options escaping. And Sentinels just can't quite manage it. Kills need to be found. Flooding forward. G2. Patience wins the day. G2 rewarded. And Trent
in another masterful C post plant situation. Whacking those kills onto the board, collects the 4K. Perfection there. Even the Viper Orb applying so much decay. Crazy difficult for Sentinels to get through. G2 in control at every point today.
These are the moments that make teams fantastic, make teams great, putting themselves in position to go on a crazy run here. It does feel fitting that the best team in Americas at Shanghai is getting a good seed going into these playoffs in Split 2. But it's because of their better performance, what feels like one of their best games that we've seen so far.
And another masterclass. They have been going from strength to strength. The calling, the individuals. It's all on point for G2 right now. This is a team that is tired of being taken lightly by the community, taken lightly by everybody they step up to.
Will you finally respect the name of G2? Will you finally stop predicting against them? Will you finally stop the cope that they get lucky, that they're performing to ridiculous expectations in only the matches that happen to matter? They're here, they're performing, they're always good for it. Doesn't matter if they end up losing blowout maps in these series, but today, we didn't even get that narrative coming through.
Yeah.
They just were essentially in control the whole way.
And honestly, I think those sorts of matches, Brent, the ones where they get blown out early in series are what made it so difficult for them to get that respect. And here, they just shut them absolutely down from beginning to end. Perfect on Bind, perfect on Lotus.
And I think all of that topic about giving respect to G2, also Icy today. He was probably the best performing player in the entire server across map 1 and map 2. A player that's been talked about so often as maybe lacking that firepower, the superstar element.
People are calling to replace him all the time. You can't after that, man. I mean, listen, he's going toe-to-toe with some of the best players in Americas easily. This team has shown consistency off the charts. And we're going to send it down to Sue as well. She's down on the stage for the Verizon post-match interview. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Bren, and congratulations, Trent, as G2 Esports takes down Sentinels 2-0. What a phenomenal way to wrap up the regular season. Because of this win, Trent, you and the boys have now secured second as well as a bye for playoffs. How much sweeter is this victory knowing you did so against a formerly undefeated Sen?
I mean, it was Sen, so we had to do it to him. But yeah, I mean, it feels very good to know that, all of our hard work has really paid off. So we're very happy to be in this situation.
Absolutely. When I was talking to Coach Josh earlier, he said that the curveball on Binds initially took some getting adjusted to, but obviously got the win, especially on that second half. It was very one-sided. So knowing that that was the comp that they brought in, what are your thoughts on Deadlock and the usage of Deadlock overall right now?
They blind swapped 2 comps, so we weren't really prepared for either of them. But I don't think Deadlock's too strong, as you can see. But, I mean, there's definitely counters against it, and, you just got to play a certain playstyle.
What do you feel about you and the boys' current form? Obviously, last time around, we saw you do very, very well, even getting third at Shanghai. Now you're about to head into playoffs looking damn good. How do you compare the team in its current shape right now?
I think we're doing very good right now. Everyone's kind of found their spot in the team. And, we've just been practicing so hard, and it's kind of all just fell into place. So hard work pays off.
Absolutely. We see that in the games that we're watching, which is very cool to see. And as a last question for you, now with this win, we know what the matchups are going to be looking like. You'll be playing either 100T or Sen. 100T will be interesting because it'll be an opportunity to potentially get revenge for the finals in stage 1. So I'm curious, would you prefer that or a rematch against Sen?
So it's 100Ts versus Sentinels?
Yes.
Okay. Honestly, the crowd was very funny, but, I don't think we really care who we play. We're going to be confident regardless, so.
All right, we love to see it. Congratulations again, Trent. For now, before we head to the post show, we have a little unveiling for you guys to show what our top 6 teams will be playing for, so let's take a look.
is what's at stake. The VCT Americas trophy, and the winner of playoffs will take that home and get #1 seed for the region at Champions Seoul. But wow, what a way to wrap things up. I mean, I went into this weekend thinking it was a foregone conclusion that Leviathan and Sentinels were comfortable in that 1 and 2 spot. But G2, unbelievable.
Yeah, all these teams at the top are so close. We have a different champion for Kickoff and Stage 1. And Stage 2, the VCT Americas trophy. It's what really matters for our teams. And I think the field is wide open in playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just think about the form that we saw from both of these teams that we thought today. I mean, you said it, I said it. I thought Sentinels were going to win that. Maybe it goes 3 maps, but G2 just continue to surprise, and they continue to impress in situations where nobody believes that they can. And honestly, it almost feels like that's better for them. Like, that position is almost better.
I think they love being the underdog.
Yeah, like, people start rooting for them, and then that's where
that's when it all comes crumbling up. Hey, well, let's go ahead, though, and take a look at the standings with Stage 2 officially, coming to a close. Here you go. G2 Esports locked that 2nd spot with a 7-3 record, but right above them, 9-1, Leviathan. Both teams, great turnarounds, especially for Leviathan. And, well, what we decided to do was have some fun with this, because you've seen the standings a million times. Let's go ahead and take a look at our power rankings, shall we? And where things ended up.
Okay.
So let's see. Hey, Stage 2, we kind of sort of nailed it.
Shout out the top 3 look good.
Look at G2 in Stage 1, number 8.
Oh,
well,
wow.
I mean, that's so long ago. I would just look at Stage 2, you know?
And it is. I mean, Fury and MIBR were consistent, I suppose,
we were
down there.
Off on crew
Leviathan,
every time.
I think that power ranking for Kickoff was pretty troll. And Stage 1, they actually were way below that number 2 spot, but they've definitely, I think, lived up to things now in Stage 2.
Yeah, wow. And, you know, honestly, the one that really sticks out to me, you know, not to beat a dead horse, is just Loud. They were, you know, we constantly rated them, but then you saw Stage 2, that really begin to crumble. But you know what? Good on them, man. They got that freaking dub today. They got that 9th place spot. You love to see it if you're a Loud fan, though. But yeah, I mean, pretty cool. Not bad.
Probably want them in playoffs a little more, but it is good to end on that high.
I think it goes without saying, right? But the regular season is kaput done. That means, folks, we got a playoff bracket. Oh, man. And when you got a playoff bracket, baby, run that header. It's bracketology time, boo-boo. And we got some of the greatest bracketologists the world has ever seen. And they just came off of work, and we're asking them to do more work. It's Brendan's Sideshow. Go ahead, boys. Take it away.
Oh, I don't know where the camera is. Where is it? I'm not too sure. Josh, listen, I'm not going to have any discussion with you here.
Huh?
I got 95% of my Preds right for Shanghai. I want to predict the whole bracket.
Okay,
and you don't get a say in it.
Go.
Crew. Okay, Crew, obviously, Crew win.
Crew win?
Yeah, Crew win. C9 serial chokers. I hate to say it. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
the serial chokers. Lev Crew. I'm going to go with Lev.
Yep.
Better than with that one.
I'm on board with that one.
Lev over here. Crew down there.
Lev have played fantastically.
Get to it.
Yep. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
It.
I'm going
now. It's been a long day. Come on.
Okay.
Chop.
Now this game.
Get these. Hard one to call.
If Sen lose this and Lev lose both of theirs, Sen do not go to champs.
Oh, that'll be really bad. But Senna, I mean,
you've already got Lev winning, though.
And Senna are also going to win that.
Sen are going to win that one. Okay.
Sort that one in. I'm very confident in their Abyss comp. I've watched their Abyss comp quite a lot.
Are you very confident in this game?
In this game, I'm extremely confident. Yeah.
Really?
Sen win their Abyss comp is crazy.
Shut up.
It's nuts. Anyway, G2 Sen at a rematch. I think rematches kind of favour the team that lost.
Oh, G2 were playing so well today. Are you really not going to pray against them?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be changing. I mean, I'm going Sen.
You're going Sen?
Yeah,
no.
Panderer.
Oh, no. He's overcooked.
Down here.
Oh, no, he's overcooked.
I haven't overcooked anything. Trust me.
He's burnt it.
It's fine.
Find
the sticker,
Where's
Josh.
the G2?
Find the sticker. We don't have time,
I've just got blank stickers.
Why are there blank stickers?
I don't know.
No one had
Where are the stickers?
G2. No, I've got G2. I've got
Find
G2.
them. Quick.
Where are
Put them down there.
You
G2.
didn't have faith in G2.
G2 over Crew.
You know you guys aren't being timed, right?
We're being timed?
No, you're not.
No, but I'm putting a timer on this because it's been a long day. And a lot of tech pauses. We all want to go home. So,
G2 are in the lower finals over Crew.
Lev versus Sen. I'll give it a Sen.
You're giving it to
Yeah,
Sentinels?
why not?
I can't believe you're playing to the crowd. After they just lost to G2.
They just lost their game. I'll give it to Sen.
Right, so Sentinels in the grand finals.
And
Leviathan versus G2.
I'll give it a G2.
Okay.
I'll give some crazy disrespect to LATAM with this.
So you're saying that the grand final is the same as the game that we just watched?
Yeah.
But Sentinels have beaten G2 in the upper semis.
And then G2 win.
Right.
In the grand final. So put G2 here, please.
Give
me another sticker.
Yep, I've got another sticker.
Come here.
Sorry, sir.
Thank you. And there it is. And that's the bracket. It's going to 100%, I think. Potentially 1 or 2.
I cannot, for the life of me, understand how you just saw G2 win today, and then you're just like, nah.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I feel like the big takeaway here is that we've confirmed that Brand is on Rob Moore's payroll. There's really
100%,
no other
dog.
way.
I just love Twitter followers. I mean, I just love
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't I go?
Why else would you do this? Clearly.
Backstory. You lose the last match of your season. You step up in playoffs. Guys, they have comps. I'm compelled by their BIS comp point.
By the way, this
not at all.
This playoff bracket would see 100 Thieves go to Champions as the 4th seed.
That's a bad omen.
That is a bad omen.
Cut away.
That is a bad omen.
That's a bad omen. The Sun Sticker fell.
But yeah, again, bear in mind, 100 Thieves, even if they lose out to Sentinels here, still have a lot of champs points because they won in stage 1. So they're in a good spot, actually. Both of these teams are in a great spot to be the 4th place champs team if a lot of our favourites, like Lev and G2, end up going deep.
Nothing to worry about then.
Nothing to worry about.
At least
Only the
my
most
bracket.
high-stakes situation in the entire year, looking to represent your region for teams that have gone deep and gone to tournaments before. No, nothing to worry about.
It's light work.
It's light work.
It's light work.
Just rely on your the other teams to do the job for you.
Oh, boy. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule for playoffs because we're going to be back on Wednesday, and here are the matches that start all the action. You're going to kick things off with Crew Visa taking on Cloud9, and then it's going to be Sentinels going up against 100 Thieves.
I mean, Crew and Cloud9. A gifted playoff spot for Crew from Cloud9. Now they have to play against each other to keep a shot at going to Champions alive. Maybe a chance to, I almost said get revenge, but it wouldn't be revenge, to punish someone who did something good for you.
It's like, hey, guys, thanks for the solid. By the way, you're out.
A good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
The other side of it, too, whoever loses the Sen 100 Thieves game, you saw Bang's mom praying in the audience during that game. Actually, every single fan from whoever loses this match is going to be on their knees begging to whatever deity they believe in that something happens towards the end of the bracket that gets these teams on champs points through.
And by the way, that deity is Lev and G2. Please win.
Oh, we praise you guys. Please win. Oh, boy. Well, look, this is going to be exciting. I mean, this bracket, I don't know what the hell's wrong with it.
It's
but
correct.
yeah, it is. You said 95% correct in Shanghai?
Yeah, I got 2 games wrong.
Good news is we have a clown suit in the back, so can't wait for you to wear that thing on broadcast, baby.
For the Cats?
Yeah, why not? Mimi said it was very comfortable.
I'm down.
It was
If
comfortable.
you get the whole, no, why are you?
Are you handshaking?
No.
Handshaking? Handshaking?
I'll take it.
I'm not doing that.
Wait,
Handshake it.
Brad, you're saying if you get any of these wrong, you're going to
No,
cast.
I mean 95%. I mean,
He's allowed 2 wrong.
He's allowed 2 wrong.
But honestly, with brackets like this, then the bracket gets skewed and they're all going to be wrong.
Yeah. So either way, you're wearing a clown
Before you
suit.
did the
I need
handshake
basically
thing.
the ending to go wrong. I need the beginning to be right.
What we learned here today is that Brenda's going to wear a clown suit no matter what, and it's going to be an awesome day when that happens. But for now, we're going to take a little pause for the cause because we will be back on Wednesday with the playoffs. It's going to be awesome. We're going to find out who our 4 teams are going to be representing the Americas regions at Champions Seoul just around the corner. We thank you so much for tuning into the regular season. For myself, for the entire crew that's worked so hard for this, we thank you, but there's still so much more to come. We'll see you at the playoffs, folks. Take care, everybody. Have a good week. Bye. We heard loud before. They're just going to go into this and honestly just see what happens. But for 100 Thieves, if they win this, they'll be able to, at the very least, give themselves a bit more of a fighting opportunity in the playoffs. It's not much, but you take what you can when you're talking about how competitive Americas has been.
May opt to give this space up and then go for the lockdown for the retake. Oh, you're not getting out of here in one piece. But he'll take the 2-for-1, playing off his own paranoia. Unreal. And Carter loses his spike. That was a gut round, Wyatt. What is going on?
Nice. Good trades.
Guaranteed kill once this smoke starts to come down, and there it is. Now onto the site. Pressure starts to mount. EU cops that one. But Arsenal finds a good timing. Just swings the box, and he's good for 3. Bang, flashed up early. Nice little pop here from the defenders, but Cryo,
Come on, man! That is filthy work. I mean, that is an outrageous stat line the Cryo just put up. Now the counter thrash.
So Etsy, Boosting just wants to be active. Trailblazer also cleared and banged, unaffected by the paranoia here. He's in a position to do some serious damage. And that's 4 in the round for Bang. GU's got into the back of the A side, though, now can put some pressure on this short position, but Sanhok finds 3. That should not be allowed. But on the corner, and Busio finds less as he makes his way to the site. Now the 1 versus 1!
Oh my god! Coming to life on map 2 are loud. Just needs to survive now. Sanhok picks up a second. Oh my god, a third! Taking straight dual Soar's Rubble.
Mirothev going to reveal the position of this Viper now and make it a 1 versus 1 as Bane looks to take the timing. Less on the defuse and sprayed down. 100 Thieves come up for air at the end of the half.
They just jump spotting, so they're content stacking up here, but Tweez with that first.
3 for 2 years, and it's loud that VCT Americas with a roar, head held high after the light had gone out their eyes midway through the season. They bounce back and remind us what they're capable of.
It's our last match of the regular season. Sentinels versus G2 Esports. If Sentinels manage to win, they'll give themselves that top 2. They're good to go. But G2 have an opportunity to take that away from them and be in the top 2 and get that bye. That would be massive for this young team.
3 players side by side, shoulder to shoulder. G2 not giving this one up, but still can they maintain their composure against the right foot fire? Yes, they can. Rocket, earned and sent. Not able to put up a fight, not against IC. There's absolutely no chance, and still, the fight continues. At least with the issues, Elsis. Sky, you gotta pick and choose your targets quite carefully. Right from the side, a second. He will respond in kind. Out wide, snappy. Plan, shut down, time is of the essence. Deltas just needs to stay alive. Everyone after him.
And perfect as well in terms of that attack side. No Mar, no floor, perfect 7 rounds in a row.
And tangle with this guy, Leaf. Locking it down to Astral Bang. That rifle aim is sharp from Tens. Just takes tree control. I see a lot's going to be asked of him, and he will deliver. Paranoia glides through. The prediction is elite. A little bit too much to overcome. Trent slightly ajar. Taps away. No way. Forcing into the 1v1. Destroy with a horn stick and have and swing to deny Trent. Watch this one. Hello, the movement just going slightly ajar. Icy is getting away with murder. Here, John QT, though, finally steps up and around. John QT, importance in terms of the fight. Doesn't want to give too much away. And finally, it's claimed. And Sentinels just can't quite manage it. Kills need to be found. Flooding forwards. G2, Patience wins the day.
Crazy difficult for Sentinels to get through. G2 in control at every point today.